Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adam Bittner. I'm a reporter for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I am hosting a special edition of the North Shore Drive podcast today with our guest, Hines Ward. Before I introduce Hines, I just wanted to remind you, if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, you can subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere you get your podcasts. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Please like the video to help us out for the YouTube algorithm. And if you're also joining us for the first time, we have a subscription deal going. 6 months of access to the Post-Gazette for just $6. That's $1 a month for access to everything we're covering about the Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, Penn State, Pitt. So hop on board if you have not already. With that, I just want to get right into it. Hines, how are you today?
Pretty good. And yourself?
I'm hanging in there, and I got the $1 million questions for you. Lots of questions about the Steelers offense right now. I'll start off with the quarterback. There's been a lot of scrutiny. Half of this town is calling for Kenny Pickett right now, but the Steelers seem pretty resolute behind Mitch Trubisky. What have you seen from Mitch so far, and what's your read on how he's fitting in as a replacement for Ben Roethlisberger?
Well, you can't compare Mitch to Ben Roethlisberger as far as what Ben has done within the Steelers organization. But I get it. I get the fans. They're frustrated. Like, when you draft a guy that high, you expect him to be out there. And I'm a big component of getting playing time. I think that's the best way you learn. But at the same time, I'm not in the building, so I don't know what Kenny Pickett does on a day-to-day basis. Is he ready for that? I can't tell you. With Ben, he had a veteran group of guys, and based on injury, that's how Ben got his opportunity early. It wasn't the decision just to put Ben in there and just to let him play. Tommy Maddox went down with the injury. Ben came in and just never looked back. We had a veteran group of guys around Ben that really Ben just had to be Ben. He didn't have to put the team on his shoulders or anything. He just went out and he never looked back. But I think for Mitch and the Steelers offense right now, they're just trying to find their identity. Are they a run team? Are they a pass team? What do they do best? And I think it's too early to hit the panic button just yet. I don't think we're ready for that. But I just think right now with Coach Tomlin, he's just trying to figure out what's best for the team. What do they do best? And really lean on the strength, but the talent that they have at wide receiver. You have Najee in the back. So in the backfield, you're just trying to figure out what the team do best and just try to build on that. It's still early in the season. And I think for Mitch, he's just got to find his way, because eventually at the end of the day, we all know they drafted Kenny to be the guy who takes over and be the franchise quarterback. So it's only a matter of time. I just think for Mitch, he's just got to go out and prove his worth and show that he can go out there and get the job done.
What do you like about Mitch's game, that you've seen so far, and what do you think he can build on, as we move into the middle of the season here?
I think his ability to be mobile, to be able to create when protection breaks down. I don't know if the strength of the offensive line is the Steelers' strength, but I know he has the ability, if protection were to break down, that he can extend plays and make some plays downfield. And I think that's kind of who he really is. He's still young himself. He's trying to find his own little niche because, he really haven't proven himself to be a starting quarterback. I know he had his time in Chicago, brief time up in Buffalo, and now, he's just trying to make a name for himself as well. But I think, his mobility helps him, especially sometimes when you have a struggling offensive line, being able to protect. He's able to get outside the pocket and make plays. So that's what I like about that. But at the end of the day, like I said, man, when you draft Kenny as the first quarterback taken off the board, then a lot of people want to see him play.
Absolutely. I want to pull at the thread a little bit. You mentioned the identity of this offense. The design of the offense, the play calling has been heavily criticized by some. What do you think this offense looks in its best form, and how soon do you think it can get there? How do you feel about the offense that Matt Canada is running?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know his offense. I'm not in the building. It's hard to say because, yeah, I've never been a component of scheme. I always think players win games. I look at it, and before I start attacking the scheme of it, I always look myself in the mirror as a person and say, hey, did I do everything possible what I had to do before I start critiquing somebody else? And if I can't answer that question honestly, if I'm not out there catching balls, every ball that's thrown to me and I have some drops, then you're just a part of the situation as well. So, when you hear things and you say, well, it's a struggling offense, it still comes down to execution. It doesn't matter, if he calls a play, and as players, we can't control that. We still got to go out there and execute the play. So I think it's a collaboration of everybody. It's not just the offense and Canada's offensive scheme. I think starts up front with protection. Receivers have to be in the right spots. Running backs have to protect blocking as well as running. And quarterback, you got to take care of the football and make right choices and decisions. And I think collectively as a group, hey, man, when you're losing as a group, everybody is at fault. Everybody's at blame. So I'm on board with, Mike Tomlin. He always say, be singularly focused. Don't listen to the outside noise. And that's what it is outside noise. Only those guys and the coaches within that building can turn things around and just figure out how to win games. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And wins are hard to come by. So they're not where they want to be right now, but they got to find a way to get an identity because they got a tough stretch of games coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Talking about the receivers, you brought up how talented they are, but they haven't quite, I think the production hasn't matched what people's expectations were for them. George Pickens pretty famously said he's open 90% of the time. Is that ever true? Is that ever true in the NFL, Hines?
I think every wide receiver is open 99% of the time. I don't think we're ever covered. Listen, very talented guys. They're just young, I think more than anything, for those guys, because they're talented. All three of them are very talented, I just think for them, you only can control what you can control. There's only one ball to go around. Everybody can have monster games week in and week out. That's why I say, so when you do get your opportunity, man, you got to make the most of it. At the end of the day, yes, you want to catch all the balls. Like, I played with talented guys all day, Santonio Holmes, Plexico Burris, Antonio Brown, all these guys, but I understood that it wasn't going to always be about me within the situation. How can I impact the game when I'm not getting the ball? And that's how I try to portray it to the younger guy. So yes, as talented as Pickens is, very talented. There's no question. All three of them are talented, but they have to understand there's only one ball that's out there. The quarterback's not throwing three balls every play. And when your numbers call, you just got to rise to the occasion and make your play and do your job. And that's really what you need to focus on, is just doing your job and not worrying about when you're not getting the ball or whatnot, because you start that creeping in, and then it just lingers. It just sets up for a bad situation. It just be about the team, not about I. That's just always been my motto.
You mentioned there were some drops, particularly I think Thursday night in Cleveland in the loss to the Browns. How do those affect the rhythm of an offense? Because I think we saw in that first half they were completing passes and they were able to mix up the tempos, maybe keep the Browns a little more off balance. But then you had some key drops on those 3 and outs, and it seemed to me like they weren't able to get that momentum, to kind of mix up the tempo and really get going in rhythm. How do those drops affect rhythm, and how can they disrupt an offense even if it is well designed?
Yeah, I've always tried to tell the younger guys, and including myself, don't be a my bad, I'll get it next time, because there is no next time. Understand the rhythm of the game, the tempo of the game. I hear Coach Cowher always talk about ebb and flow, right? They're going to make some plays, you're going to make some plays, but if you're not capitalizing on the routine plays that you're supposed to be making, it's just hard for any offense to get into a rhythm. You're supposed to make the routine plays because you're not going to get that play back, and that play could have set up momentum, could have kept the ball going, could have kept, their offense off the field. So, like I say, man, it's a collaboration of it all. I can't really put a finger on, say it was the play call, is lack of execution. I just think right now you win as a team, you lose as a team, and right now everybody's not doing their job. So look yourself in the mirror first before you start making statements and criticizing people. And then, when you're doing your job, that's all you can do is just do your job, and hopefully other guys are doing their jobs. And if you're doing that, then maybe some wins will start to follow after everyone's being on the same page and doing what they have to do.
Not to be, I think we've been a little bit of a downer so far. So I want to ask you what gives you optimism about this offense, and what you think it can be if everyone starts executing, and can it be a good group? Do you see the talent there for it to be better than it's been through 3 games?
Yeah, there's no question the talent is there. The talent is there. They can compete with anybody in the league. As far as, the receivers, they can go toe to toe with any receivers. Matchup problems for defensive back Najee Harris, what he's done in his brief career. He's kind of like the marquee, the heart and soul of the run game and things like that. It starts with him. He sets the tone in the running game. So talent-wise, at the skill position, that's not even a question. It's just a matter of executing better, and that's what they haven't done. So when they are hitting on all cylinders, people, they're explosive. They are extremely explosive. But when you're not, that's when you start to have stalls. And I get it. Everyone in Pittsburgh, every time you wear that uniform, you expect it's Super Bowl or nothing. And right now, they're not playing at a Super Bowl level where they should be. It's just a matter of just being able to execute better and playing as a team, complementing each other offensively, defensively, and on special teams. And when the Steelers do that, they'll go on a run to win some games. But you just got to worry about the next game. They have the Jets, be an opportunity to get on the winning track, and they just got to go out there and execute better.
I wanted to give you a chance too, Hines, before we wrap up here, to talk about the Huddle Up campaign. What do you got for us on that front?
Yeah, kind of teamed up with the NFL alumni to take on the Huddle Up, Let's Talk Obesity campaign. Just understanding for me, being retired, I've always been kind of active. And then lately, due to COVID and getting involved in coaching, man, I put on some weight, so when you're stuck at home and you're not sitting in your chair watching film, you end up binge watching the Ozarks, and next thing you know, 2 bags of flaming hot Cheetos goes down, and is something that I'm not too proud about to say that I put down 2 bags of Cheetos while binge watching the Ozarks. But understanding that obesity is a medical condition and not a character flaw. And I really just to spread the word about obesity. I look at, I like to tell my story because, I played at a high level. I've done an Ironman. I've done Batman the movie. I've done a lot of different things in life. And when I kind of took off a little bit, I picked on some weight and kind of got scared. And it's like, man, I got to get back in shape. So really just wanted to invest in myself. So I went to the doctor, wanted to figure out where I stood health-wise, because as a football player, you had access to doctors and trainers and stuff each and every day. And then now that you're retired, I'm required to go on my own to invest in my own self. So I went to go to get a checkup. I was overweight. I was pre-diabetic. And that kind of hit home to me because I lost some family and friends due to diabetes. So, luckily for me, I got treated early. I went to the doctor to find out. So I had to change my eating habits and things like that, because I got up to about 250 something. And I was, man, and I knew I was getting kind of overweight when I was tying my shoe strings on the inside of my shoe because I couldn't bend down. I had to tie from the inside. So I said, no, this is not the path I really wanted to go down. So I just wanted to better myself, man. And I just want to encourage a lot of people out there who are struggling with obesity to understand that there are ways that you can look for help, invest in yourself, and try to go see doctors. You can go to huddleupobesity.com to learn more just about, like I say, investing in yourself and taking the time to go see a doctor. Because a lot of times people are scared to see what the doctor has to say. So that's why they don't go. So be proactive and investing in yourself. I get it. I understand. Sometimes you just want to eat what you want to eat. But, I want people to live on this earth as long as possible and live a good life. So just telling my side of the story and kind of the struggles that I had being a retired player and not being able to eat the things that I used to always eat while I was playing football, and understanding just taking, control of my health and getting back and just living a healthier life. So I'm super excited to be a part of it.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice for everyone. Certainly I think we all benefit from that. So Hines, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us today on the North Shore Drive podcast. Again, if you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and please consider that subscription deal I mentioned at the top of the video because you support the journalism we do every day. Hines, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of football season.
Appreciate it. No problem. Thank you there, Adam.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right. Bye.